Hi whānau. I wanted to make a video on my relationship, 8-year relationship that ended in, I believe it was 2019, and I just wanted to speak about how it's influenced me and how, yeah, just my experiences with that. So when I was 21, I believe, I had moved back from Sydney, Australia to Wellington. I was seeing somebody at the time back in Sydney, and then that relationship had come to an end, but I was seeing somebody at the time that I met who would be my then partner post that relationship. I hope that makes sense. So I came back from Sydney and I met, what should we call him? I met Boy and we became friends. Met Boy from church, he was a member, and yeah, we became friends. At the time, I was seeing somebody based back in Sydney, Australia. It came to be that that relationship didn't work out. He cheated on me, and so that ended and I was pretty gutted by it. And Boy was there as a friend, you know, took comfort in that friendship at that time. And mind you, we had been friends for maybe like 6 months, and then we continued to be friends. We moved up to Auckland, I was down in Wellington, we stayed in touch, and eventually got into a relationship when I was, I believe, 21 or 22. Yeah, we got together. So that relationship was all of my 20s pretty much. So we were together up until I was 28, I think I recall. And that relationship was very much in the church. We were both members, we both grew up members, and members of the church. When I say members, I mean members of the Mormon church. We grew up in the church, and so our relationship was, you know, very much influenced by the church, even though we were breaking commandments by living in sin together. That relationship went on for 8 years, 7, 8 years, can't do the math. So obviously a lot happened in that time. I ended up deciding that I wanted to go to university, which was huge because it seemed like it was going to be in the cards for me, but he very much helped me to get to that point where he encouraged me to go to university. And then I would say from that time where I started university, which would have been 2018, I think, I kind of gained a newfound independence within myself, where I was able to see and look at life in a different way. We're not together now, obviously, but there were moments within the relationship where I realized, or where I informationally was receiving guide towards not being with this person. And yeah, from university, gained a new independence, a new view on life. This is why education is so important as well, is because it gives you a new way of seeing the world, a new way of understanding the world. And I guess from there kind of began the process towards ending, you know, that relationship. I remember ending the relationship, telling my whānau on our last sort of get together as a whānau, where we'd booked out a batch up in Auckland. Like, Boy and I had booked the batch for my whānau to come from Wellington, Sydney, to stay in Auckland, and I had said to them that it would be the end of our relationship, just to, I guess, be aware and say your goodbyes, because he had been in our whānau for 7-8 years, and my nephew is 12 this year, so he had been in Carius's life since Carius was 6 months old. So he had played a substantial role in terms of uncle and a male figure in my nephew's life, and they were very close, which was also heartbreaking when I realised the end of that relationship. But we had that trip together and knew it was the end. There was obviously a lot of moments that built up to that point where I knew it was the end, and it was very difficult, and it was very confronting and uncomfortable, and all of the things that are brought up when you realize that you're not actually going to spend your life with this person that you once thought that you were. And so the end of our relationship, and I believe it was 2019, and it was a very defining moment for me. I feel as though it was, I guess, the beginning of what my journey back to myself. It would be the beginning of a lot of things and realization about myself. So that was the end of the relationship. stayed in Auckland for a little bit and then decided I wanted to do medicine, so moved down to Dunedin. Realized very quickly that I was out of my depth, hadn't really addressed the relationship or what had happened, like hadn't really spoken about it properly to somebody, and unpacked that. So it very much impacted negatively on my studies, as well as realizing that I didn't want to do medicine. That was a very learning and a growing experience being down in Dunedin. There was also another significant event that occurred while I was down in Dunedin. I speak about in my Catalyst video, kind of come to all sorts of realizations about my sexuality. And from that point, realized I'm not going to do medicine, not going to do this. I was still in the church at the time. I prayed and received guidance to come to Hamilton. And I'm like, Hamilton? Why would I go there? I have no desire to go to Hamilton. No God, I'm not going to Hamilton. Yeah, what's the point of that? Anyway, fast forward, end up moving to Hamilton, and in this space and time, I come to realize the importance of true independence, of detachment. I attached to a lot of things in my childhood, and also I moved up to Hamilton. Not long after that, my brother passed away. So it was a breakup, my sexuality, and then brother passing away. There were significant events that took place in my life that definitely altered, shifted, moved things around within me. Really challenged the way that I was looking at life and the way that I had approached life before that point. So with the relationship and all that I had been learning, because I had learned a lot after the relationship and continued to learn in the years post that time, I think the most important thing that I learned was that truth will set you free. And the importance of truth is that if you're not living in truth and not living by your truth, then you're not really living. You're not really alive in a lot of ways, where I remember being very dissociated, obviously in life, and I obviously was experiencing, going through the motions of things, able to feel joy, able to feel sadness, able to feel all these emotions. But the reality was I wasn't fully present and able to be fully present because I wasn't actually willing to look at the truth of myself. And that holds a lot of depth that I feel like can be unpacked in another video. But the truth and the awareness of myself coming to that point where I was able to leave the relationship and then continually learning from then, it's just been integral to my growth forward and has impacted nearly every decision made since that point. And where I am now, I guess, in learning, looking back to that relationship, is having so much gratitude for all the parts of myself that I didn't really pay attention to and didn't really acknowledge, because now those parts of me speak very clearly. I'm able to identify them on a deeper level because I didn't have them for so long. Who I was in that relationship and even after that relationship is very much a different person to who I am now and where I plan to go in this life. And so I wanted to share the importance of relationships and the importance of learning and the importance of truth in everything. For me, the journey of life has been a journey of coming back to truth constantly. And if I'm not living in truth, I know it. I can feel it. It manifests itself in some way, right? Whether it's that I dissociate, whether it's that I'm very deeply sad or not acknowledging what I need to acknowledge or what I need to bring to the forefront. And so I am deeply grateful for that relationship of 8 years. I know that there's a lot that's happened since then that I will talk about, but the importance of recognizing every single person that you come across, that you meet, that you share your life with, has an impact on the blueprint of who you are and has an impact on the trajectory of your life, and you get to choose that impact and that trajectory. You don't get to choose the trauma and you don't get to choose the struggles and the difficulties, but you certainly get to choose how you respond to those things. And so I wanted to share that. It's obviously taken a lot of work and a lot of effort, steadfastness since that point in time to see that relationship in this way. But I have the utmost respect and love for what that was for me and for Boy in his life, wherever he is now. I know that that happened exactly for a reason. And it's funny, for a long time I was like, oh my gosh, I was in a relationship for 8 years and for what? And a lot of people were saying, when you didn't get married and you didn't this and you didn't that. And I'm like, you know, you get caught up in that thinking and that other people's unlived lives onto you. But reality is, once you step away and once you come back to yourself, you're able to see your relationships clearer, and you're able to see the benefits of that relationship. So I hope this speaks to somebody who going through something similar or related to truth, living in truth. I think that is perhaps a theme of, I was going to say this podcast. And truth is a theme that of my life, but also a theme that I hope comes through in this space, in these videos. And so yeah, wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And if you're not having a great day, just know bit by bit, little by little, it gets easier. All my love.